In the heart of the Philippines' agricultural landscape, the crucial sector of smallholder agriculture thrives. This essential cornerstone provides jobs for many people and serves as a lifeline for countless families across the country. Despite the relatively small size of their farms, usually around 1.29 hectares, smallholder farmers collectively own more than half of the country's agricultural land, playing a vital role in the country's economy and contributing to its growth and prosperity. However, despite its significance, the contribution of smallholder agriculture to GDP has declined due to the numerous challenges that farmers face. These challenges include climate change, limited diversification, high input costs, and unpredictable farm gate prices, making it increasingly difficult for smallholder farmers to sustain their livelihoods. Guinayangan, a third-class municipality in the province of Quezon, is one of the many areas in the Philippines facing the challenges of smallholder agriculture. Located in the southern region of Luzon, also known as Calabarzon, this municipality comprises of 54 barangays with a population of 44,045 as of 2020. Of its land area of 22,800 hectares, more than 70% is primarily dedicated to agricultural production, with monocrop coconuts being the dominant practice. The municipality of Guinayangan is no stranger to extreme weather conditions, particularly typhoons that wreak havoc on its agricultural sector. These natural disasters, droughts, and prolonged rains pose significant risks to the local communities, especially small farms and tenants, causing immense damage to their livelihoods. Furthermore, the impacts of climate change are becoming more evident, exacerbating these risks and leading to increased flooding, soil degradation, water shortages, nutrient depletion, loss of biodiversity, and an increase in pests and diseases. All of these factors have a devastating effect on agricultural output, productivity, and sustainability. In response to such impacts of climate change and natural disaster effects, the IIRR, through the support of the CGIAR Research Program on Climate Change, Agriculture and Food Security or CCAFS, and in partnership with agencies in the Department of Agriculture or DA and the Municipality of Guinayangan, established the first climate-smart agriculture program and associated CSV in Guinayangan, Quezon in 2014. The Guinayangan Climate Smart Village or CSV has become a learning site and a model for the establishment of Philippine CSVs such as the AMIA villages in various regions in the Philippines. CSVs can test and identify appropriate climate-smart agriculture practices and social processes to help local communities systematically and incrementally adapt to climate change. In CSVs, communities learn sustainable and diverse regenerative practices that help them improve their local knowledge using science-based solutions from research and development institutions. These approaches help local communities enhance food security, nutrition, and economic conditions while promoting gender equity. This includes the CSA practices of agroforestry, farm diversification, and intensification. In 2014, farmers were introduced to various crops including coffee, fruit trees, small livestock, corn varieties, sweet potato, and cassava. These practices aim to reduce risks from monocropping and provide farmers with additional sources of income and food. Various fruit trees and cash crops such as cacao, banana, coffee, and black pepper were introduced to diversify their farming activities further. These biodiverse forms of agriculture rely on a multi-story system that uses vertical and horizontal spaces. More carbon is sequestered in such systems. And most importantly, more spaces and opportunities are created for women to engage in otherwise male-centered production systems. The main purpose of multi-story agroforestry cropping systems is to optimize land by mixing perennial crops with annual and biennial crops to maximize land productivity. It is intended to make the best use of resources, soil, moisture, and space for increased farm income. It is also a very effective method against soil degradation and erosion found in monocrop systems. At the full establishment, the multi-story cropping system develops different layers: coconut followed by cacao, madre de agua, and taro. By integrating various fruit, coffee, and cacao trees in coconut-based systems, farmers can diversify their sources of income. To complement agroforestry, farmers were encouraged to diversify their farms by integrating livestock. This helps provide stability and increase resilience to shocks. Previously, many farmers relied solely on their income from coconut monocropping and did not own any livestock. However, IIRR's intervention introduced them to the benefits of livestock production beyond just providing food for the household. The climate-smart agriculture option of raising native pigs has expanded livelihood options for local farmers, bringing about significant economic benefits. With each native pig fetching up to 3,500 pesos when sold, families can now earn additional income.
Inialok ni na ma'am kung sino daw ang may gusto na baboy na itim. Sige po, sabi namin. Ako po ay kumuha ng isa at saka yung anak kong lalaki ay kumuha rin ng isa at tig-isa kami ng inalagaan. At yan nga po na nagpagawa nga ng malaking kulungan at napadami. Tapos dito po dinala yung bulugan na sa Kalinga din galing. Dati po nga noon 1.5 lang. Tapos po pag dumating na sa Litsunin 1.8. Ngayon po ay ang bintahan namin pinakamababa 3.5.
Native pig raising offers a sustainable and cost-effective alternative to commercialized breeds. This approach benefits farmers who utilize natural forage, root, and tuber crops which are readily available in rural areas to reduce production costs and minimize their carbon footprint. This is particularly helpful for poorer farmers who cannot afford costly commercialized feeds. Moreover, the use of natural feeds not only enables farmers to access various crops for household consumption, but also promotes environmentally sustainable swine production, leading to a reduction in the community's carbon footprint.
Tungkol po sa pagkain, tinuruan po kami ng halamang pagkain. Pinapagtanim po kami nun ng tricantera, kamuti, balinghoy, tapos yung mga gabi. Yun po yung mini-mix namin. Tapos po lalagyan ng kaunting tubig. Yun ay pagdurog na nakahalo namin, yun po kahit 1 linggo i-stock pwede. Bali po wala akong naranasang nagkaroon ng pisti ang baboy mula nun hanggang ngayon sa itim.
Building up on the story of Julie, the program has exemplified how incorporating livestock can improve farms' ability to cope with unforeseen risks such as the African swine fever outbreak in 2019 and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020.
At nitong dumating ang lockdown, nitong mag-pandemic, ay marami ang bumili sa amin ng gagamiting inahinin. Pero dito nga yun, nasabi ko nga na ipinaalis ng mga kapatid ko. Sabi, mahirap mag-alaga niyan, saka ang liliit niyan, saka paano ba yan magiging pera? Pero nung ako po'y magkaroon na ng mga biik, may nadating na lang, miski alas 7 ng gabi, kumakatok, pabili po ng 1 bulaw, gusto lang namin magsimula.
The Native Pig program is a promising example of how small-scale farming can foster sustainability and resilience in rural communities. Its effectiveness in promoting sustainable and environmentally friendly farming practices while providing economic opportunities for farmers is noteworthy. Currently, over 250 households are involved in raising native pigs, utilizing natural forage to reduce production costs and minimize carbon footprint. The program has shown the potential for a more sustainable approach to meat production, emphasizing the importance of natural resources and local practices. In contrast to other upland regions in the Philippines, Guinayangan relies heavily on the coconut industry for agricultural production. Coconut cultivation occupies a significant portion of the agricultural land, accounting for 79% of the total production. Nonetheless, the coconut sector is susceptible to natural calamities and has a prolonged recovery period, as seen in the aftermath of Typhoon Rosing in 1995 and Typhoon Glenda in 2014. These events have resulted in reduced coconut production due to the impact of typhoons and prolonged dry seasons, leading to smaller and fewer coconut nuts.
Sa tuwing may bagyo, nakakaranas kami na yung aming mga nyog, yung iba ay natutumba, yung iba naman ay nanlalagas talaga po yung bunga, kumbaga halos walang matira sa nyog. Talagang apektado ang mga farmers kasi nga ay mga ilang years bago po siya makaka-recover.
The promotion of CSA practices in agroforestry, farm diversification, and intensification has enhanced the climate resilience of coconut-based systems in the communities.
Kumbaga umuunti yung aming income. So naging interest po kami dun sa additional income. Sa coconut po at saka sa bananas, kasi pag iba-iba yung fruits mo, syempre hindi naman sila sabay-sabay na mamunga. So in case na yung iba ay makaka-harvest ka doon, so sa susunod ay yun namang ibang, so parang continuous yung iyong daloy ng income na papasok. Hindi ko po na-experience yung iba-ibang fruits na makain nung ako'y kabataan pa. So, isa po sa dahilan kung bakit kami nag-ano din is yung mga anak ko na makakain din siya.
The work on coconut-based systems paved the way for integrating livestock and developing coffee-based systems in Guinayangan. In 2017, with the support of CCAFs, IIRR distributed the first batch of Liberica coffee seedlings as part of their early advocacy for coffee-based systems. The organization continued their advocacy for coffee in 2018 by engaging with both established and new coffee farmers, local government units, and academic partners such as Cavite State University and De La Salle University. A team of young scientists from the National Coffee Research, Development, and Extension Center at CABSU was also involved in assessing soil conditions and elevation in Guinayangan. To promote climate resilience, the Liberica and Excelsa coffee varieties were given priority due to their known tolerance to drought. These coffee varieties have wider canopies and more extensive root systems, which aid them in coping with dry weather episodes. Furthermore, they are considered heritage coffee accessions, having been introduced a century ago. In this effort to make agroforestry based on coffee the talk of the town, nearly 10,000 seedlings were distributed to draw interest to Guinayangan's potential for coffee intercrops. The establishment of Aroma in 2016 marked a significant milestone in the development of coffee production in Guinayangan. The organization, consisting of 35 members, provided a platform for farmers to improve their knowledge of coffee production and access to resources to enhance their capacities for climate change adaptation.
Way back 2017, may group of farmers na nagnanais na mag-engage sa production ng coffee. And timely naman na ang aming opisina, ang Office of the Municipal Agriculturist, ay nais ding muling buhayin ang sektor ng pagkakapihan.
Ang Aroma po ay nagsimula noong 2017. Kami po ay parang 17 lang kami. Tuwing huling Biyernes, magkakaroon po ng pagpupulong ang samahan para po kung ano man yung gustong malaman ng mga member na ipaano ng taga-DA kung papaano mapaunlad uli, maibalik uli yung dati nung nakaraang ng mga may kapihan nga. Dahil ang kape nga daw po dito sa Pilipinas ay parang naunti na. Kaya po nagkaroon ng, gayon nga sa mga nagkakaroon kami ng training. Yan, para po yung kung paano namin maitanim namin ng maayos yung yung kape nga. Eh siguro nga po kung kami walang samahan, eh di wala naman sa amin magtutulong na gano'n dahil kanya-kanya laang. Kaya malaking tulong nga po yung aming pagkakaroon ng samahan dahil marami po talagang natulong sa aming LGU.
Lately, nitong nakalipas lamang na buwan, nagkaroon din tayo ng distribution ng malakihan at ito nga ay umabot sa 30,000 na seedlings ng Liberica. So isa ito sa mga naging initiative ng katulong na rin ang mga NGO tulad ng IIRR at kasama na rin ang ACDI BOCA. So kung saan bukod sa mga seedlings, nagkaroon din tayo ng training together with sa mga ating mga SUCs tulad ng CABSU, PhilCape, and ACDI BOCA.
Ang Liberica po ay talagang angkop din naman dito sa amin na itanim. Sa totoo lang po nga ay ngayon nga ay namumunga na yung iba. At saka po yung Excelsa naman po ay talagang meron naman talaga yun dito.
Having identified the potential of expanding coffee-based production in Guinayangan, GCafe, another LGU association through the support of the local government unit, has set up a coffee processing center. Guinayangan's coffee products are now available, though in limited quantities. The formation of a cacao growers group in various barangays of Guinayangan shows promising progress in promoting this crop. This is a positive step towards climate resilience as the crop provides farmers with diversification opportunities and supports regenerative agricultural practices. The growing enthusiasm for coffee and cacao production, as well as their associated mixed tree systems, set the precedent for the wide-scale distribution of fruit trees in Guinayangan. Supported by the Climber program in upland areas in the north, the Darwin Initiative in coastal areas, and the Fresh Initiative of the One CGIAR, this effort has resulted in the cultivation of fruit trees by small growers in 25 barangays. Notably, the CSVs Project has benefited not only farmers and farmer groups, but also agricultural technologists of the municipality. Their skills in scaling and supporting farmers have improved, enabling them to reach and provide their services and technical knowledge to more farmers in the municipality.
Napakalaking tulong po yung mga ginawa po ng CSV projects tulad po ng mga roving workshop, meetings, training, saka po yung kinakanta po nila na participatory action research tulad po sa SRI, and yung pong low external inputs po since ito nga po ay 54 barangays. And number one na problema po natin dito yung logistics because of the geographical location ng bawat barangay na hiwa-hiwalay po sila. So nung first stage po, nag-target kami ng 14 barangays or 14 village, and nakita po natin yung impact doon sa mga farmers po natin na maganda po yung naging epekto. Dahil nga po doon sa pag-adapt po nila ng mga iba't ibang technologies na binibigay po natin sa kanila, nakita po natin na mas na-improve po yung kanilang farm. Tulad po dati na yung pong ibang barangay is monocropping. Halos ang tanim lang po nila is coconut and banana. So because of the CSVs, nakapag-diversified po sila ng kanilang mga farm. Nakapagbigay po tayo ng mga fruit trees, coffee seedlings, cacao, and also the native pigs, native chicken. And since nakita po natin yung epekto na maganda po, so kailangan po nating isama po yung mga ibang barangay na hindi po nakasama dun sa project kasi po mas magandang tingnan sa isang munisipyo na halos lahat ng magsasaka is sama-sama pong umuunlad, sama-samang na mimitigate and nakaka-adapt po dun sa epekto po ng climate change.
The initiatives for climate-smart agriculture in Guinayangan have opened up new avenues for partnerships with DA-AMIA. Roving workshops in 2015 and 2017 were utilized to leverage these efforts and provide opportunities for training and building the AMIA villages under the Department of Agriculture. With the given accomplishments and outcomes of the work of CCAFs, IIRR, and DA-AMIA, much work remains to be done to address the impacts of climate change, especially among smallholder farmers. As such, IIRR will continue to work on climate-smart agriculture by building on the knowledge and evidence generated in past works with CCAFs and IDRC. IIRR's future thrust will emphasize anticipatory climate adaptation work. Specifically, IIRR's new engagement with CGIAR's initiative on climate resilience entitled Building Systemic Resilience Against Climate Variability and Extremes or CLIMER will build on the past works of CCAFs, IIRR, and DA-AMIA. The project aims to generate further evidence on how small farms contribute to more sustainable and resilient food systems. Focusing on agroforestry in upland areas as an anticipatory adaptation to climate change, the project targeted 18 barangays in the Quezon, Capiz, and Cavite provinces. As CLIMER aims to transform the climate adaptation of food, land, and water systems in target regions, it will seek to reduce risks and protect investments in production system-linked livelihoods, understand climate security risks, provide evidence for the development of necessary and context-specific policies, and work with local institutions to improve community resilience.
I think one of the things is when we talk about adaptation and we talk about working in farming communities, we sometimes tend to think about farming communities as homogenous, but there's a great deal of heterogeneity and different farmers have different needs. And therefore we want to make sure that any climate adaptation efforts which are being done working with communities benefits as many people as possible and not just necessarily the most powerful who are able to capture the benefits of the interventions. So taking into account what are the needs of different sorts of farmers. It could be women, it could be young farmers, depending on the land they've got. Everyone has different needs and resources, and therefore wanting to look at those climate adaptation efforts to make sure that we don't increase the inequalities in communities and that as many people as possible benefit from those adaptation efforts. The rather long title, CLIMA, is a shortened way of talking about the project title, which is Building Systemic Resilience Against Climate Extremes and Variability. And I think the work that IIRR is doing around anticipatory adaptation, how do we best work with communities and other stakeholders, local government, to increase the adaptive capacity of communities so that as climate change sadly progresses, because it will continue, that farmers are best positioned to be able to adapt to it with different agronomic techniques, diversification of crops, looking at getting climate information services so that they know in advance when there's going to be droughts and rainfalls and typhoons. So it's really building up that adaptive capacity, empowering local communities and local government to make sure that communities are well positioned to deal with climate change in the future. And CLIMA is very much around building up that capacity, but also working with other stakeholders, both local government and also national government, to make sure that those priorities are fully embedded in government policy, which the government in the Philippines has been doing for a long, long time. It's adding to the basic climate awareness and climate preparedness of the Philippines and numerous communities within the country.